There we go. It's working. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Hacks. How are we all doing? Switch it over. I was just grabbing a coffee and a water before we get started. Had a later lunch as well. Yeah. Nico is here as well. Welcome back. Good to see you. How are we all doing? Yeah. I just picked the worst asset to focus on for this opening shot, didn't I? It's one of the unfinished cards. But hey. How we all doing? Hope you're all doing good. Today we're just gonna continue doing some level art. And I'm probably gonna dive into maybe creating some more assets. And maybe finishing some of them up as well. To catch you up on what happened behind the streams. I did a little bit more work on this area over here. I updated all the big trees as well. So I finally found a way. I basically got my tool back to working order, right? So that I could update like all the bigger trees. So I've been working on those. Here's a selection of bigger trees that we currently have going. I think these two can definitely be improved. They kind of have that very generic tree look, but these ones kind of go into the right direction, you know? Like where those are going. Yeah. Did an update to those, then it makes the whole level feel like a little bit more organic as well, because we have like more height variations in there too. So yeah. Having fun with that. It was very tricky to figure out like the right density of the amount of leaves, because it doesn't 100% translate to Blender, like the preview in Blender. But yeah. Happy with the look. Some areas like they stick out too much, and where they stick out too much, like you kind of see where it kind of falls apart, but we can tweak that later. There's also one thing that I experimented with here is like the little knots of like broken off branches. I was experimenting with those too. Not built into the tree, but I just used particle effects so I kind of like scatter them. But yeah, that's mostly what I've been up to. You might also see some changes in the colors and how vibrant it looks compared to last time. So yeah, I also did some stuff like that in the background as well. Just doing like a little bit of an update to the post-processing, basically resetting most of it though, because I was losing too much color in the scene. I'm trying to bring that back. Daniel's asking, I lost the last streams. Can you do a fast summary? Fast summary, last time we just worked on some assets and we created the base of this level. So, oh no, I think last stream was actually just focused on making this new level that we have here in front of us. And then doing some tweaks to some assets. So yeah, fast summary of last stream. And then we're gonna see how we can improve that today. Also maybe tweak some of the values, continue doing that, like massaging everything together. We'll have a look. Because yeah, I do think that we're going into the right direction with all this stuff. I also love this area down here, where it's like more contrasty. Like the thick canopy is basically blocking the light from coming in. I like this area a lot as well. But yeah. Let's continue on. Let me try and figure out what we're gonna do first though. Let's figure that out. Because I want to do some more level art. Maybe we'll get started with that for a little bit. Oh, Daniel, no worries. This is a stream that's specifically dedicated towards that, right? So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. And yeah, I'll try my best to explain it. How did you create all the imperfections on the ground? It kind of depends on what you mean. Like, the majority of it is just like textures and textures blending together. And then I add stuff on top of it. Like, it's probably easier to show it here. Where, like, the stones, like the little stones that are kind of get deleted after a certain range, like I add those on top of it. But the majority is just, yeah, simple landscape textures, which I can paint between using the landscape tool. And so these are just like simple tileable textures that I blend between. Hey, Coffee Diction, how's it going? Good to see you here. Let's actually see. This was like our entryway into the whole scene. And then it like opens up over here. Let's actually give like a better indication of what they're actually doing here. Right? So let's open this space up a little bit. And tweak it all up. Streaming early today? No, I'm actually a little bit late compared to the usual time. But it's good that you didn't notice, you know? I can get away with it now. So yeah, let's have a look. So this is where they bring the logs in, right? So they chop down trees and... Let's open up this space a little bit more. So, all trees. I know that we added like a bunch of stuff last time where we basically added all those trees, but I think I want to open it up a little bit more so that you get like this wider view and the trees all being chopped down. I think it's gonna make for like a more provocative image. And then do we actually have like log piles? Maybe I need to make some of those. Shavings. I don't think we do. We got wood debris. Those are just like some, yeah, random logs that don't look good. Have a look. So, I do have these ones. Bigger stack. Stream day, let's go. Oh, Coffee Addiction is struggling with RVTs as usual. Yeah, nothing new there. Nothing new. I've had my fun with them as well, so I know how it feels. Yeah, let's actually... I'm just trying to think, right? Because this is... So they bring like all the wood over here. These are all like the... the big wooden trees that have been chopped down. Okay. And then they would probably like leave them over here somewhere. Probably gonna replace this with like a pile of them, like as a single asset. Hope everyone is doing okay today. Yeah, hi Sarah, it's good to see you here. I am doing great. I was struggling in the background with some back-end stuff before, so it's nice to switch it up with doing some art. We keep up with the chat here as well. Did you manage to remove the vertical stretching on straight meshes? Feels like impossible. So you can't. That's a limitation of RVT, because RVT is a 2D texture, so you can't, because it's always going to be projected down, unless you do triplanar mapping, right? So where you actually take the texture and like triplanar map it on top of the thing. That's an option. That's an option that I'll be exploring in the future, but I'm honestly not that bothered at this moment. I'm just gonna keep it like this for now. But triplanar mapping would be a good one to look into if that really bothers you. Yeah, I haven't figured it out myself yet. So you can use a normal map to project textures correctly as well. It takes a little bit more work. You can use a normal map to project textures correctly as well. Which is like the normal angle, you mean? That could potentially also work. But I think the issue there is just with the RVT stuff. What you can also do is just do like an more old school implementation and do it with distance fields. Right? Where you basically have a distance field between the terrain itself and then the mesh, and then you kind of use that as a mask to then project your textures upon. That can also work. But you're probably not sampling like all the terrain textures, it just has to be the one. Let me actually create like a quick log pile out of these assets. Route 1, the roof is Geo. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's sneaky when they show it off in the tutorials. Like, it's always like a mega scan mesh that has like this slope to counteract that from happening, right? So that could also be another option where if you have, maybe on walls it's not gonna be the best looking, right? But you could have like transition meshes, right, that help you like bridge the gap between the two. Could also be more manual implementation. Good morning, Rod. Good to see you here as well. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, they all have limitations, right? I think RVT is great. You just have to make your assets for it. What some people do is they remove all the vertical elements from the mask, right? So they take where the vector is basically like very close to like being vertical. They just remove that from the mask. So that you don't get that weird transition, but that's not going to help you if you want to blend the wall, right? Because then you don't have a mask anymore. Let's have a look here. Let me quickly Duplicate a bunch of these guys. Probably don't want to go too crazy. And then we can just do like a cheeky randomized transform. Oh. Not that way. Not that way either. Oh, the pivot point is not in the middle, of course. It's always gonna look weird. Right, and then scale. Add some quick variation in there. Now what we could actually do... it's not finished yet though. I was thinking maybe we could grab the knots that we use on the trees and then add them on here as well. So you get like an indication of like branches that have been cut off. Collapse all of this, shall we? Three. I don't know if this is an accurate word, but like a felled 3? I don't know. Maybe instead of doing this like very crude asset, maybe it's time that we actually add some details to this before. I feel like we might need to add some details to this first before we start making piles out of it. Let's do that. Oh yeah, I looked at that. I looked at that video, but that doesn't get away with like all the stretching though. And like from what I could tell, he doesn't use like very vertical meshes, right? It definitely helps in the meshes that he uses, but not for very vertical ones. Still worth checking it out though. Never know, maybe it works for you. Yeah, so what are we gonna do here? We're probably gonna add some more cuts in here. So that we can actually add it. Yeah, we'll need to add like an additional cut. There's that. Boonk. Yeah, if you're new to the stream, feel free to ask any questions that you might have. Could also be not really relevant to the stream, right? Feel free to ask anything you got. If you're struggling with something, if you want to know something about the industry, the games industry, I should say, feel free to ask. So we have the base wood, we have the end as well. Kinda okay. I think we can definitely add some more Geo here. What am I trying to do? There'll be a better way. Oh yeah. Yeah, if they use it for rocks, like they don't really have an issue with it that much. That's true. Well, the vertex normal, if you do adjustments to that, it's just gonna blend the mesh better into the landscape, right? So you're kind of forcing the normals of the mesh itself to conform more to the landscape, which could be really helpful. Or at least that's the way that I think about it. Do you ever use the extra objects and the curves add-on, Sarah? That's a good question. No, I don't. I am trying to think. Yeah, not really. I don't really use too many add-ons, you know? I think I have the extra objects enabled, but I don't think to use them. Yeah, like all this stuff, like pipe joints, gears, mat functions, like, meh. I don't really use them that much. Do you? Is there anything that I'm missing out on? Is there some funkiness happening? That it? I think so. This is... I really need like a bigger island for this to make it work textile density wise. We'll have to do. We'll have to do with this. Then what I actually want to do here, I add like a little cut. And then duplicate this and then scale it up uniformly using Alt S, which is like a really useful shortcut. By the way, if you just want to scale something up along its normals, it's basically shrinking or flattening or fattening it, right? Very useful indeed. So stack them up, straighten them, and then I'm gonna see if we can create some damaged edges. This is a trick that I've been using on like a lot of my assets now, and it actually works really good, even though I say so myself. Just gonna move it into the middle here, and then I'm gonna randomize and do it on the X. Just want to make sure that we're not going out of these bounds. And then we're getting some of these broken up edges, which look quite nice. I can move over like individual things. Yeah, I love this little technique. And then we can kind of pull and stretch Unlike all this stuff. We're getting a bit of a nicer transition. Set to seam. And then this one isn't really capturing anything. Well, it's not really necessary anyway. I'll play around with the scale a little bit. Pick up that edge a little bit more. Hi. How are you doing? How do you lock the PureF window so it doesn't minimize when I try to select colors from it? Always stay on top? Oh yeah, Coffee Addiction is saying it. Always stay on top. That's a great tool to use. A great option. Let's have this peel off a little bit more. I'm just seeing if we can get like a nice little end to this piece. Basically breaking up the shapes as much as possible. And do the same thing on this side as well. Where honestly, if we're just gonna be lazy, I'm gonna delete it. Take all the stuff we just did here. And then just duplicate it to the other side. Just need to make sure that geo kind of works. And we don't have any nasty things happening. Yeah. Oh, we also need to close off some of this stuff as well. Let's see. Pick out the outermost edges of all of this stuff. Oh, that doesn't even have like a face. Yeah, again, we got quite a nice number of people in here. Feel free to ask any questions, just for people that are new. Anything that you're struggling with on your end, or anything that I can help out with. Any questions? Feel free to throw them in the chat. Hey Fuds! I is sipping some coffee while watching you. Nice. I'll do the same thing. I got some iced coffee though. I don't have the normal kind of coffee here. Ah. Iced coffee. Love it so much. Probably my biggest addiction. Tim, you need a good raid? Like, let's say 50 people out of nowhere, but I think YouTube doesn't have a raid as Twitch does. Nah, I don't need a raid. I like it. I like it nice and quiet. I like it chill. Appreciate the sentiment though. It's like with a good portfolio, right? It's about the quality of the people, not the amount of people. Hmm. Okay. Oh, I actually wanna rewatch like something that I was watching yesterday. It's was a speed level design thingy where they were basically recreating like a medieval village, and I'm gonna see and look at it more intently than I was doing yesterday and kind of see if we can get some inspiration from that later on as well. 50 quality people it is. Hell yeah. So, these three. These three. Bridge. Probably like the long way around. But hey. Don't care about that. Let's just do center for these guys. Probably want to make this like a tighter fit as well. I think the right side is pretty good. So let's see. This is a weird view. Let me see if I can actually kind of align it with like... Why don't we switch to a solid color on the background rather than using a blurry HDRI? Because I love the look of a blurry HDRI. Why I do it. My jam. Oh, that's interesting. So it has the same material, does it? Oh, it might not actually. Hey, Jeremiah! How's it going? What is happening here? This is funky. Tree bark. Sign that here. I'm just trying to close up like the gaps that we're getting in between these two meshes to make it a little bit more watertight. Right, so that we can't really see like any weird spots. I think we're in a good position now. Is that the way that you prefer to work? Like with just like a solid background rather than the blurry HDRI? Probably just like a little bit clearer, right? This does look more like it's been eaten by a beaver though at this point, doesn't it? Made me realize that, but Jeremiah's doing good. Baking all my unique assets for the environment. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing good. Just cleaning up this little tree over here. With a cut down tree. I'm gonna open my other file and I'm gonna see what we can do with the stumps. With the stumps on the trees. Maybe I'm gonna transfer them to like a proper UV and see if I can get away with like texturing them in some way. With the stuff that we already have. And then move them back over to this file again. And then texture or like add them to the trees as well. We'll see. Where did I add them though? Little tree stump. Wait, I thought I did have them in. Yeah, there we go. These guys. Okay, just gonna copy and paste, which I love that you can just do that. Right, and we're gonna see if we can make this look nice. See if we can clean up the mesh itself first though. We're gonna see if we can use some new modifiers, right? I've been playing around with some new stuff. Well, quote unquote new stuff. Some stuff that I haven't used before. Let's call it that. Oh, wait. Something wrong with this. Let's merge those up. That's better. Been using this quite a lot to like smooth stuff out where I have like really weird things that happen in the mesh. Like the smooth corrective helps just make the whole thing a little bit smoother as well. Yeah, we're gonna see. So if we what do we want on here? We want our vertex color blend material on there. Because that is basically just our normal trim sheet. I'm gonna see if we can kind of move it to like an end knot over here. Maybe even expand it, you know? And just the seam. Right. And then move that. I think this might work. We just need to use a geo to kind of help sell the feel of it. So that is going into the right direction. Let's fix this up as well. Oh, we need these edges. Where do we want to do it? I guess on this, I'm talking about the seam, right? Like I guess on this asset it doesn't matter because the log is on the floor, so you can see it from like all directions. But on the tree, it would probably be the most efficient if we put a seam on top, because it's less likely that you're going to see it from the top rather than the bottom. Thinking how do we want to do the UV? So let's get a more accurate representation. And let's add it onto the thingy. Yeah, so you kind of wanted to follow... Kind of want it to follow the wood grain. Or like the bark. But this kind of works. I guess only in this direction. You don't really want that. So I wonder. I'm gonna try something. You know, let's just wait. Wait, I can't do a soft select in here? Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm gonna warp it too much though, isn't it? Maybe I also need to get a tileable for the bark. Because I kind of want this middle section to be pointing upwards, right? Because then it kind of follows the wood grain that way. And then the bottom needs to be that way as well, which it already is. So maybe what we can do... I'm gonna experiment for a little bit. We just want like a cylindrical projection for this. Let's give it a try. Hold up. That is definitely not what I want. Yeah, so we got these two shells now. We want like the edges of those two shells to go up. So this one is aligned. And we kind of... Stop, only connected. I'm gonna do like a quick try, right? Gonna be warped as all hell. I wonder, I'm gonna try some new stuff, you know? I've never worked with this before. But let me actually see if I can pin this. Pin that. And then how does that work? Can I now just go like, hey, smooth between the two or something? Is there even a smooth in this? Clean up. No, not in this though. Minimize stretch. Oh. Wait, what is it doing? And my mouse is locked in a weird position. What? Oh my god, this is so slow. What have I done? Did I crash Blender? I'm just trying stuff. Jeremiah saying, looks awesome, man. Thank you so much. I is also replying in the chat. I like to see only the model itself on the screen. Blurry HDRI may cause some noise, so it can break my focus. Yeah. You can actually see the colors in the background of the texture. It's similar to the background HDRI. Yeah. Hell yeah. Solid color for eye. And then Aloya is in the chat. Welcome back. How are you doing? I'm doing good. We're just trying out some stuff. Why is this set to like 1,000,000 iterations? That's probably why it's so slow. Jeez. Yeah, I'm doing good though. Thank you for asking. So what if we set this to Just 10. Oh, look at that. This is way better. It's not really doing what I wanted it to, though. Like, I was hoping that it would also force the outer ones, but it feels like it's only doing the inner ones. So I guess if we want to make the most use... Whoa, it's broken up. So if we want to do something like this, but then the outer one's not going to be... Outer one's still going to be screwed up, though. Yeah, just doesn't add anything to it. Even kind of look like what I want. I honestly might prefer the first one that we had, like the first thingy. First unwrap. So yeah, like it only looks kind of weird on the top edge, right? And I think I can live with that. Yeah. Okay, let's just keep it like that. I'm gonna do like another thing here, where we look for the skin wrap modifier, shrink wrap, skin wrap. Okay, I took like the violent option out of the two. So we can say, hey, snap to this, but I only want you to snap these vertices. So we'll make them snap vertices, right? Because I'm too lazy to think about a good name. And then we just snap them, and now like the bottom vertices will always snap to the object, to like the closest surface. Which is pretty cool, you know, so you can kind of play around with it while not having to fear like your model like not snapping to the surface anymore. It's a neat little thing. Right? You could just kind of just align it. And then the modifier kind of does all the heavy lifting for you, which is quite nice. Right? And then you just duplicate that, scale it down. Just move it to like another place, kind of makes sense. So many neat little tricks. Pyramid Scheme, hi Tim, hi chat. It's Friday. Why are you streaming? What? It's Friday? I stream every Friday. What do you mean? I've been doing this for a while now. But yeah, Aloya, how are you doing? Oh wait, you replied already. So today, first time chatted with HR about my portfolio and tips what to improve. Oh, nice. Is that HR for the company that you work for? Or HR for a position that you were applying to? Nicholas is in the chat. Happy to have you here. Welcome to the chat, Nicholas. Just found you via Discord we're both on. Oh, that's awesome. Is that one of the German ones? Or just making assumptions here, but let's move this a little bit closer to the surface. And then maybe we can even get rid of this entire edge over here. Smooth this edge a little bit. Oh, don't know if you still work here. But do you be one? No, no, actually I don't. I left the company a year ago. Yeah, I haven't been there in a while. But yeah, that's awesome. You're gonna be speaking to a lot of my former colleagues then. Say hi. I don't know what your profession is. Are you also an environment artist or something else? Something else entirely. Well, this looks a little funky. Won't mind it too much though. Apart from this side, maybe. Good too. Hey Jay, how's it going? Good to see you here again. Oh, as UX, yeah. Yeah, nice. When did you join? Are you a recent addition to the team then? Is he gonna be on surface? This doesn't do anything. Yeah, now we have some of these knots on there, which quite nice. Honestly, don't mind too much that the unwrap is not 100% there, you know? I think I can live with that. If it really looks bad in the engine, then we'll have to come back and kind of fix it, but I would say it's not necessary for now. Also, again, too lazy, you know? Maybe we should move this one to other side. Nicholas joined in November. That's awesome. That is awesome. Jay is saying it's going good. Just thought I would hop in here before lunch ends to see what cool stuff is happening. Hell yeah. Just making some logs. Some log boys. So that we can... I'm basically going to replace this stack. And like this individual one. With like proper looking ones. A little bit more detail to it as well. Don't need this for now. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And then once we got this first one, I probably want to make like a variation, right? So we have two like separate logs. No, I'm gonna have a look. Gonna look for some ref for some cut down trees. But the thing, I can't really rely on like modern techniques, right? Like chainsaws. I gotta be looking for like hand cut down trees. Well, or like saw ones, right? Like medieval saws, they still had those. Have a look over here. Lots of questions coming in as well. Let me catch up. Guys in the chat, if you work in a game dev company, was it hard to get that job? It's kind of depends on how we define hard, you know? Like it takes a lot of grit and a lot of persistence and a lot of time to get one, right? But I wouldn't necessarily call it hard. You know, like it was, I don't know. I never really struggled, or I don't want to say, how should I explain this? Like I did struggle with like skills, right? And like getting to grips with like all the technical challenges that brought, but I never had the feeling that this was like a hard thing I was doing. I was always so filled with excitement. That being said though, like recently, like getting a job as a junior, like you're looking for one. Yeah, it's really rough at the moment. Because I feel this is my assumption, right? Especially I'm focused on the art field. A lot of senior talent is breaking off to start their own studio or like look for something else. Which means that the companies that lose senior talent need to replenish that senior talent first before they can hire more juniors, because they need the seniors to actually train up the juniors in those positions, right? So that's why a lot of companies now are looking for more senior talent. And the senior people that left and then start up their own companies, they're also looking for more senior talent because it's probably the first thing that they're going to put on the market. So they want more experienced people helping out with that, right? Before they can start opening up junior positions. So I feel in general, this is my look on things, right? I don't really have any data. Like all the data that I kind of use is just like talking to people and like getting a feel through that. But I feel, yeah, that's how I feel about the current situation, especially for juniors trying to get a job. And what I hear from juniors trying to get a job currently in our community, that it seems to be rougher than normal. And there's also some data that I looked into kind of back this up with, I think Hitmarker, like one of the bigger sites that aggregates like jobs. They do see a drop in like junior applications year over year. So it is quite tough. Doesn't mean that there's no jobs, right? But it's just hard to get in now. Are you also using a data transfer on the edge to change the vertex normals? No, but that's actually a good thing. Let's try that. Let's try that. Because I've never done that before. So what was that data transfer? Yep. Mix the weights of two vertex groups. It's not called data transfer, right? It might be like vertex weight edit or something like that. Oh no, data transfer. Never mind, I'm lying. But yeah, let me quickly finish this up here. That's cool. This is a good indication of how they cut up stuff, right? I'm gonna open that in a separate tab. I'm gonna use that for future ref. Jay's gonna lurk. Have to get back to work now. Hey! Thanks for popping in, Jay. Appreciate it. Adi Khan, welcome to the chat. Happy to have you here. Did you create all the logs in Blender or SpeedTree? Everything that you see here is created in Blender. I don't use SpeedTree. I don't use ZBrush. Like I sculpt in Blender. I make my trees in Blender with my own tool that I made. So yeah, full Blender boy over here. How much time? This is a good question. Adikan, how much time you think I should spend on each prop? As much time as necessary to make it look good to your current abilities. There's no set time on it. Like I can't really give you like, oh, this prop this amount of time. Because it depends on your skill level, depends on your experience, depends on what programs you use, depends on what workflow you use, depends on what detail level you're going for, right? So the best that I can say there is take as much time as you need to make it look the best to your current abilities. That means that if you feel like, hey, look, this is the best that I can do, cool, I'm gonna finish it here, that's enough, right? And then do the next prop, because the next prop is gonna look better than the previous prop anyway. Especially when just starting out, because you're learning so much. Does that mean I should be submerged in getting details? Yep, 100%. Or should I go for the overall scene look more than a small prop? If you're starting out, don't do a scene. That would be my advice. Start with props. Really nail down props before moving up to scenes. The reason why I say though is because props actually teach you all the foundational skills that you need to then also use those in an environment. That would be my advice. Yeah, but like attention to detail is always good, right? Whether you're doing a prop or an environment. Oh, look, how do we do this? I've never done this before. So takes data. Let's actually look. So edge data, base corner, custom normals. Smooth. I'm just having a look here to see. Probably want to look at it this way, huh? Projected face interpolated. Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up for a little bit just to speed things. Blender data transfer. For normals. Let's do that. Let's go. I think this is a Russian one. I don't care about that. Just need to see where you click. The high, replace face corner data, custom normals. Oop. Oh, so it's actually just set to this then. Let's have a look in here. Boolean cleanup, auto smooth, bevel modifier. That's not it, right? I just wanna Oh, yeah, I probably... Use face interpolated? Okay. And set it to auto smooth, and then it will... Okay, let's have a look over here. Let's see if we can try that, shall we? Yeah, I was just looking at it, so let's do that. Oh, I think I got one already, right? Yeah. So we can just use a snap thingy. And what did they set it to? Ba-ba-bum. Replace. Don't want mix. And nearest face interpolated. Oh, it was actually showing it correctly, but I still had to freaking outline out. So yeah, it was actually doing it perfectly. Great. Okay, let's just link this up. Oh, no, only modifiers. So smooth. We're gonna need to move this up a little bit. Yeah, nice. Thanks for the suggestion, Jay. Appreciate that. Let's have a look. Lots of chatters here. Appreciate that. So Daniel asked before, what changes did COVID make to the games industry in 2019? Working from home was the biggest one, for sure. In 2019, yeah, when COVID started, right, it was working from home was the biggest thing. Like we shifted to working from home like over a week, which was crazy for like a massive company. And now the long-term effect is that a lot of companies have considered working from home in like hybrid working situations, and everyone's kind of figuring it out, right? And some companies mandate that you have to come back into work, which it's totally up to the company to decide that. And then also it's up to the people that, yeah, if they hear about that decision, whether they want to stay or not, right? You get to have that choice too. Yeah, I think that's honestly the biggest one, you know? And like remoting into work is like easier, and like some companies send like desktops to your workplace as well. Like there's a bunch of that stuff, but I feel like work from home is definitely like the biggest one. Let me see what Nicholas had to say about it. But after COVID struck in 2020, I think they began to be very careful in hiring and expenses, meaning they also take less risks. That's why so many games, unfortunately, are rather mid or unfinished at the moment, because they are the products of COVID budget/scope cuts. That's an interesting argument. Because if you say it like that, like new games, yeah, I can maybe see that argument, right? But for the games that were already in production, I can't really see that argument being made. So that's an interesting one. It did shake up for like a little bit, and for some companies, it probably had like more drastic effects than other companies. But yeah, it's interesting though. I don't think. Is it also the interesting point that you bring up, Nicholas, is that you say that they're very careful in hiring and expenses, but I felt like other companies just went crazy, right? Like, and you see the fallout of that now happening. I feel where like a lot of the big tech companies are like throwing out like a bunch of people because they kind of overcompensated for like hiring more people. And now they realize they have too many people, and that's why you see like these massive yeah, what is it? Like these massive layoff sprees, right? That companies go through. I don't know if that's because of COVID, or maybe that was already happening before. But I feel like it definitely continued to just hire massively during COVID. Again, I feel like that, right? I don't know if that's actually like the case. But from like all the stories that I've read, kind of that's my opinion on it. Doo-doo-doo. But yeah, it's an interesting time, man. Like, because I'll reflect on it for like a personal thing, right? If COVID didn't happen, like I wouldn't be sitting here doing this stream right now. You know, because COVID really gave me the opportunity of trying freelance out without making that big of a decision on my end, right? Because it was basically like, oh, you just work from home now. And I was like, oh, cool. So I cut out 2 hours a day on my commute, and then I get basically 2 hours free that I can spend on Beyond Extend, which I was doing, right? So it allowed me to like really test the waters on that side, which was really cool. Let's make sure. Lots of games that were in development before were pushed back a lot, like a lot of AAA titles. Yeah, exactly. But I wonder. That is undeniably true, right? You're absolutely right there, Nicholas. But I've always wondered if that was because of COVID, or if COVID was the perfect excuse to do so, because it was like a trickier financial time. If that makes sense, right? Because like basically a lot of other companies were doing it. They were pushing back their release dates, right? But oh god, I don't know how deep I want to go into this. But I feel that a lot of companies, or like a lot of the games that were set to release even before COVID, were kind of ambitious anyway already, right? And then COVID, like that whole thing, kind of gave them an excuse to then delay the game, right? It was kind of like the perfect storm for that. I don't know. Maybe I'm too skeptical of it. Yeah, I think so. And look, like it was a big shakeup, right? It was a big shakeup, but it wasn't like multiple months of a shakeup either, right? Like most companies, they already had some sort of framework going on to work remote anyway. It was just the tricky thing. I mean, I'm not gonna say that it was an easy thing, because I know that our IT, when we were going through it, they were working day and night to like scale up the infrastructure of it. So I'm in no way, shape, or form saying that was like an easy thing. But I think there's also this outside perspective that it really shook up like the entire industry for like a year, or let's say 6 months to a year. I didn't think it'd do that. Like we were almost back up and running like 2 weeks later. You know, like we were just working from home at that point. Which, credit where credit is due, right? That's purely because of IT. Like it was nuts. Like how quickly they managed to scale that up. It was crazy. So big shout out to those guys. Yeah. I think it's an interesting thing. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm too skeptical because of all of it, right? Because no. Even before COVID, the way that I kind of think about it, like even before COVID, like games were getting delayed like occasionally, right? And that was because ridiculous promises made, or like really ambitious project deadlines, right? I'm not gonna say that's easy either, because trying to make a new thing that's pushing the boundaries while also setting like a tight deadline on it. I mean, I even struggle with that on personal work. I can't imagine how that works on like 1,000-man project, you know? Like it's not easy. you can't really say that, oh, but you've made games before, so the next game you kind of know how long that's going to take. No. No, because all the tech around it has changed. It's like a very complex thing. Aloya is saying, by the way, I want to join one of the biggest game jams at the end of the month. There will be recruiters or people related to game dev that will like my models. Aloya, that's a very interesting take. My quick 2 cents on that is don't join a game jam to show off that you're really good at modeling, because usually in a game jam you don't have the time to do that. A game jam is purely there to have you make a game in the shortest amount of time, and usually that leads to not being able to spend a whole bunch of time on making good looking assets. My 2 quick cents there. There might still be people there that would be interested in looking for passionate people, right? But yeah, the art side of things is yeah. Oh, Nicholas is actually bringing up a good thing. I would also specifically look for art challenges, since I think recruiters hunt there for art talent. Yeah, like for example, the ArtStation challenge, right? Like that's a guarantee that people will be keeping an eye on it, especially if you're like higher in the bracket. Like if you win like an honorable mention or something like that. That could be a good shout for sure. That could be a good shout. Great shout, Nicholas. I think I can use my portfolio. Do you think I can use my portfolio and quality of work as a substitute to experience? Your portfolio and quality of work is always going to stick out first, and then people will look at your experience, I think. All I heard from recruiters about work experience is that there's much more attention to portfolio than to experience. Yep. Exactly. Oh, this is an interesting one, Adikan. So, Adikan is saying, I heard that too. Like, this is in reference to like that your portfolio was more important than experience. But then he's saying, or like they're saying that a good artist, like he sees like a good artist not being able to land jobs. And I don't know what could be the reasons for that. It could honestly be because they don't reach out. Like, it's honestly somewhat simple, you know? You can have like a kick-ass portfolio, but if you don't do any marketing, or if you don't like reach out to companies, like how are they gonna know that you have a kick-ass portfolio, right? Because you have to look at it this way. Let's say you post your latest work on ArtStation, and you don't, maybe you get into the trending tab, right? Which is the landing page of ArtStation. A company might see it, but the chances are probably bigger that they won't see it based on what time zone you're in, what time you post, what kind of work it is, the thumbnail. You know, people might have like really good work, but a lot of it like gets by unseen because it just gets buried by the other works on ArtStation. If we're using ArtStation as example, but you can apply this to Twitter, you can apply this to LinkedIn. Like it just gets buried with like all the other stuff on there, right? Yeah. I like that you bring that up though, because I think a lot of people have this well, I've seen it as well, right? Like I'll say in my community, or like in our community Beyond Extend itself, the amount of times that I had to push people to apply because they didn't think they were good enough and then did get a job when they actually did apply, there's a lot of people like that. Right? So, yeah. You gotta think about that aspect too, right? Where it's not only about like putting good work out there, that's like one piece of the puzzle. But then if you don't share that work, or like don't put it in front of the relevant people, then it doesn't really matter that much, right? Unless they're looking at your work already. Du-du-du. Wait, why am I missing out on some messages? What's happening here? Shitty podcast. Hi, how you doing? Oh, it's Danny. Hi, Danny. How you doing? Feels like we're just chatting instead of doing art, but I don't mind. I have some quality work lying around on my laptop. I'm gonna upload that to ArtStation. Yeah, why don't you do it? Why do you just have it lying around? Like, just post it out there, especially if you're looking for a job. Gotta put your best work out there. Do-do-do. I saw examples when a guy without a full list of skills got a position after one call with HR and a lead. Yeah. I mean, we hire people like that, right? Like when I was in recruitment chats or when we were looking for people, like we would literally look at the art first, right? It's like, oh, this is great art. And then you see like, oh, it's a person living here, blah, blah, blah. And you get all the details. But like the art stands out first to me. Oh, yeah. Lots of games that were in development before were pushed back a lot, like a lot of AAA titles. Yep, kind of talked about that as well. I wanted to ask, what do you guys think about my English? Because it's not my main language, and I'm not really good in it, I think. It reads fine. It reads fine. I'm not a native English speaker either, right? I speak Dutch. Like that's my main language. So don't mind if people come in here and talk a little bit of broken English, because I've had years and years of speaking broken English myself. So Danny is resting, just got back to the gym, had a 4-hour meeting today. Ugh. 4-hour meetings. The worst. Absolute worst. I'm glad you survived, Danny. Hi, Mazeltov. How are you doing? Welcome back to the chat. Okay, so this actually works quite nice. I'm gonna be lazy again. I'm just gonna duplicate the entire setup that we have here. Right after lunch too. Yay! Dutch speaking stream only challenge? Oh my god. I'm trying to talk to people here, right? I'm not trying to scare them away. Plus, I gotta be honest, like, it's so weird where I have to talk in Dutch in, like, a professional setting, right? Or, like, with professional terms. Like, it's always so weird when I have to do it. Like, my brain kind of breaks. Pyramid Scheme is saying lockdowns created a market boom, stimulus checks, and more people at home with money to spend. Now the money is gone, people are back at the office. Yeah, that was definitely a part of it. Damn, I'll need a week to translate the full stream. Well, you could see it as good training, you know, to get better at English. This just turned into like a modeling / language stream. Okay, so we got 2 logs here. I'm just gonna do this because this is a really thick boy. We're gonna see if we can make some changes to actually... No, not connected only. Let's do everything. Sorry, Shitty Podcast. You asked a question. Is it smart to just apply even if you think you wouldn't get the job, or does the company put you on a bad list? This is so interesting. Like, where does this come from? Like, I'm not pointing it at you, right? But I feel like there's a lot of people, and I've been talking about this recently in the community for like a lot of times, where people think that there's like a blacklist or like a naughty list or something like that. When people think you're not good enough, you're going onto the blacklist and you'll never hear back from them again. There's no such thing. No such thing. What it usually comes down to is, let's say you apply to a company and they rejected you for whatever reason, and then you apply 3 months later and they see that you like reapplied but nothing changed on your portfolio, they wouldn't even like reply to you. Right? That's probably the only thing that I can imagine that could happen, where you just keep reapplying with the same portfolio and then they'll just treat it kind of as spam, right? But important factor there is, I said, with the same portfolio, right? So let's say you took 3 months and you made a killer environment, you made a couple of props, and you basically changed it all up, right? You've really leveled up your entire portfolio. Reapply and they'll accept you, or like they'll at least look at it with like open arms, right? Because they see that you're freaking driven to get that position, and they might even remember your name from the last time, right? If it's with the same people, so you can definitely leave an impact there. And then on to the first part of your question: is it smart to even apply if you think you wouldn't get the job? Here's the thing with that statement, and I think you're on the money with the statement yourself, even without realizing it, I think. Because you are not in a position to objectively look at your own work and... yeah, you're not objectively qualified to look at your own work and then decide if you're good enough for a job or not. You... especially if you're like a beginning artist, right? You don't have like an artistic tool set that can help you make that decision. So, long story short, apply and let them make that decision, right? Because sometimes what happens is that you say like, oh, I'm not good enough, but then the company would like happily work with you because you're a perfect fit for the company. But you just don't know because you have no insight what they're looking for, right? Apart from the application. But you might be a perfect fit. And then you're shooting yourself down for like no reason. That'll be kind of silly. So yeah, believe a little bit in yourself and just fire away. Like, the worst that you can get is a no. It's not too bad. Like a no or getting ghosted. Just move on. Keep firing off those applications, you know? Yeah, I can get the train of thought behind it though. It's just yeah, you're not really equipped as like a junior artist to make that decision, right? Like, you should let someone else make that decision. The person that's actually looking to fill a job, let them do the decision making for you. Oh, they like your worst work? Oh my god. Yeah, it's an example, right? Like, don't let yourself get in the way of potential job opportunities. Yeah, no worries. I'm happy to help, Shitty Podcast. Like, I know, and I've struggled with this myself, right? That's why I'm so passionate about like all this stuff, because I've been there. And then something, I think the first couple of interviews, I gotta think back. Kind of struggle with that. But the first couple of applications that I sent off, I was like, oh my god, like, are they gonna reject me? And I was kind of waiting for a reply, and then once I got a reply, I would move on to the next one, right? But I would, after a while, like, I would get kind of tired of just waiting around for like a reply, right? And I would just start shooting off, like, email after email. I made an entire spreadsheet where I added like all the companies that I wanted to reach out to, and every day I would send like 10 or 15 applications. And just send them out, you know? Like, who cares what they think? Like, I'm just looking for a job. I think in the end I sent something like 150 applications or something like that. And this was for an internship, right? And I sent it all over the place. Like, oh, your company doesn't have an open position. I'm going to reply to like a speculative position, right? And just ask for an internship there. I would reach out to like people in person, especially recruiters if I could find them. You know, I would go all the way with like this stuff. I wouldn't, yeah, wouldn't care. Like, let nothing stand in the way of like your future success. That's the way that I would look at it, right? Keep going after it. Obviously, do it with humility, right? I just want to throw that out there. Do it with humility and respect for the people of the other side. Don't just go in there and, I kid you not, I've gotten emails like this where they literally say like, hey bro, do you have a job for me? Do not do that, please. Have a little bit of respect, you know? If you're working in a different sector but are doing 3D on the side as a hobby, how could you make extra money with 3D? Any suggestions? Oh god, there's so much that you can do with 3D in general. Oh god, yeah, it depends on what you want to do, right? Like, you could be printing like miniatures, you could be helping people that want to print miniatures and you just deliver the models. You could 3D print jewelry. You could also just do like VTuber. Like, what's the name? Like where you make like 3D characters for like people's live streams. Could do that too. You know? Like, this space is so wide and there's so many opportunities in there. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Data transfer. Here. Basically just did the same thing, so. Hey bro, do you have a job for me? This isn't a good tactic. No, not at all. And you would be surprised by the amount of people that have reached out to me that way. Or the amount of people that get pissed if you don't reply to them within the hour. That happens too. Which is nuts. Nuts, nuts, nuts. Have a little bit of patience, please. Okay, so. Oh no, Sarah, don't you start. Don't you start. Oh my god, do I even want to say this? We, in the community chat, we have a workroom where we also get together and just chill out and work together. And we had a good couple of hours where we were just talking like your typical Cali girl. So Mazeltov, but to expand a little bit, like there are sites out there where you can just become like a freelancer. You know, Fiverr is one of them. Um, I wouldn't recommend them. I've created modular pieces for D&D that people could buy and print at their home, their own 3D printer, but I had the feeling that the market was oversaturated. Yeah, I think if you want to do that, you have to print them yourself and like, yeah, like really go that way to make a big margin. But that's the thing, Mazeltov. I think there are always opportunities in any field. You just have to put your business hat on. And I mean, I'm really simplifying this, right? And I'm not good at business either, even though I run like Discord and I run like a website and all that kind of stuff. But that's a tricky thing. You have to look at it as as like a market kind of thing and try to find gaps your own way. Because the way that I always look at this, if someone else is giving you insights on what you could potentially do, that means that other people have said the same thing, and that probably means that that market is like saturated as well. Unless you find like a unique spin on it, but yeah. I bet that you can find like YouTube stuff on this, by the way. Let me... Let's apply all of this. Let's join it all up. It's gonna make a duplicate so that we have like a backup over here. All apply to? It's not. So apply all. Oh, Upwork is a good one as well. VR modeling jobs are on fire due to the metaverse concept. Yeah. Yeah, even though the companies are already dropping it like flies, you know, like that fucking thing. Oh my god. But yeah, you can find. I mean, Adikan is bringing up like a couple of good examples. Upwork, Fiverr. Yeah. Okay, let's make a stack and then get this in. Yeah, Upwork is a platform. Yes, yeah. And Fiverr as well, with a double R, I think. But if you just type in like freelancer platform, you're gonna find like probably like a whole bunch of them. I'm having a hard time explaining to my family why I will probably not have a job in my area after leaving college. Just started creating a portfolio. You're talking about like the realistic proposition of you having to move away from your family, right? What do you think about ArcViz? Got no idea. Honestly, got no idea about most of this stuff. I'm a game artist, right? That's what I am to my core. So all the stuff that I will probably give you is like, oh, make Unreal Engine asset packages, right? Because what I'm seeing now is that Unreal Engine for Fortnite is going to be big when it comes to it. So if you can kind of get into that market and make like really high quality asset packages there, it could be like a good thing to get known for, right? In that space. There's always opportunities that you can get. Okay. Let's actually do like a randomized transform first. Oh. But don't you think there are already like a lot of asset packages? Yeah, but you just have to make better ones. People, the stuff that I hear is complaints about like high quality asset packages. So if you can't, I think this chat is a bit too intense and Tim can't work and speak at the same time. I'm trying my best. I just find it like very interesting that that a lot of people are bringing up like very good questions in the chat. So I really appreciate that, everyone. Yeah, you just have to make better quality than the rest that's already out there, right? Because the highest quality ones, they bring in like lots of money. I mean, look at Decagon, right? It's like a whole business with like tons and tons of artists working on it that are like fully paid. And that's just because they make good quality stuff, right? Crazy chat today, indeed. I love it, though. Gotta get used to the craziness, huh? Wait, where's all this red stuff coming? What's happening there? Is that like the underside of like one of these and I completely missed it? Oh, it is. Okay. Let's also move all this stuff over, shall we? Yeah, exactly. Well, it's also... Oh, Basiltov, is it possible to create asset packages as one person? Looks like a lot of work outside of a full-time job. Yeah. Well, here's my opinion on it. Like, you're not gonna make a lot of money if you don't put in the effort, right? At least that's my thing about it. And I think like an asset package could definitely be created by one person. I mean, I did it, right? Like I created let me have a look. It's an older one though. Marketplace. Oh my god, just completely spelling it all wrong. Let's have a look. Let's see. I'm actually curious. I've never looked at like finding my own stuff. So, can I find it by name? No. Find it by name. Oh wait. We go by this? No. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, it might not even show up here. Okay. Have a look over here because I haven't updated like any of it in a long time. So let's see. So this is one of them, right? Like this is from like 5 years ago already. But like this is just like a set of pipes, right? Like a whole bunch of pipes. You can create that by yourself, for sure. For sure. You don't have to make big packs, right? They just have to be high quality and like usable. Because I think someone brought it up, right? Oh, Mazeltov, yeah. If it's a lot of effort, it will not sell in the end. Then you gotta try it again, right? You gotta try it again. Do market research, like if you can find a gap somewhere that you could have into. How does it sell? Like once a month or 10 times a month? So it's interesting. Like I'm usually not... I'm okay with giving away this information, but I'm not gonna do it in this case. Because I feel like if you just focus on the money, then you're kind of doing it wrong. I'll explain that a little bit, because usually when people focus on the money, that means that they try to optimize the time that they spend on it versus the quality that they actually should need, right? The way that I always approached it, and this is also not a guarantee that it will sell, is I was making a portfolio project that was looking good, and then I sold it as like an additional benefit, right? That's kind of my approach to it. Which, if you want to build a business, that's probably also not the correct approach to be doing it. But yeah, I was doing it as a hobby too, right? I was just selling stuff on the side. And it did do really well on my side. And it's still selling like a couple of things a month as well. And sometimes there's months where it doesn't sell. And then sometimes, yeah, when a sale's happening, get a couple of sales. But I don't do any marketing, right? So I don't keep track of it. What's happening here? Why is this so slow? Okay. It's a lot of this is just, yeah, finding what you're good at, right? And then serving that market. The podcast is saying, yeah, you should enjoy the whole process instead of waiting for it to end for a paycheck, I think. Yeah, maybe I'll explain it a little bit more. But like, if you just do it for the money, the same thing also happens when people build a portfolio and they just do it to get a job. And if you can compare people that have like a genuine passion for the stuff that they do, and you have the portfolios of people that just want to get a job, you know? Like there's a massive difference there, because the one that has like the passion and is constantly just focused on like, oh, how do I make this better? It's always gonna look better in the end. What is this? Oh, so that's that entire thing? Wait, that's just wrong, isn't it? No, it's not. What is happening? Do I need that? Of course, I do enjoy it, but I do not have a limited time to try a lot of things. Yeah, so on that D&D building set, what went wrong, do you think? Because that's an important question, right? Because that's a very important question. Like, why didn't it sell? What is that? Oh, I can move you. Hey, bikes! Okay, so the visibility was too low, and I think the possible buyer group is too small. So, yeah, so that means you always you always have to look at it in a way where you can get control of things, right? So visibility was too low is that it means that you need to do more marketing for it. Right? That's what it means to me. And I think the possible buyers group is too small. I don't think so. You know? But I feel like you if you wanna be sure of that, you have to do research, right? And like at least give it a proper try. Most people are using Patreon and a monthly fee to receive models every month. You don't have to do that though. Like again, it comes like if they're sending out like a model every month, look at what they're paying for it. See if there's like some margin that you can like squeeze between, right? There's probably an opportunity there. Right, so there's always options. Just have to find the right ones. And also the issue with Patreon, or like with Patreon creators, is that some of them are well known, right? But a lot of them are not. And so I think it's pretty hard if you want to capture like new people trying to get into like the 3D print market. Yeah, there might be an opportunity there, right? I think there could be, for sure. But it's definitely going to take time to find that out. But also, it's a market that I don't know too much about, right? So I'm not the best person to ask. I know about Patreon, of course, but Daniel saying, "Are you using a tile sheet for that trunk? Can you show it, please?" The trunk is just a tileable texture. Yeah, it's literally just that. That's it. Simple, straightforward. I mean, that was only the normal map, but you get the idea, right? Pretty simple. And actually, what I can do, what actually is like an interesting trick with like a lot of trees, is that if you just rotate the UVs just slightly, right, you get it to look like more dynamic because it's not just going up straight. We can literally just like whoop, watch this, and you get like a nice rotation on the bark. Neat little tricks. It's hard to find traction. Yeah, Mazeltov. I think that's where consistency comes in, right? Because you can't expect... I don't know if you do this, right? But I'm making a general statement. Like, you can't expect people to pay attention to you from, like, the first thing that you've put out. Like, people when they buy something, they wanna see that you're trustworthy to buy something, right? So with this stuff, my opinion is that you always have to be, like, long-term minded. The same thing I'm doing with Beyond Extent, right? Like, technically, I'm working here, and the majority of it is that I'm trying to help as many people out for free, that hopefully, in a way, they tell it to their friends, or they join the community, or, like, the brand awareness just spreads, right? Plus, also, it's a good excuse for me to work on my art, too, you know? Like, get to help people and work on art at the same time. That's basically all I love to do, so. It is hard. Like, all of this stuff, like, on the side is hard. Absolutely is. But it's, yeah. Depending on what you want to do with it, it might be worth it, right? I mean, you can... It's a totally different thing. Totally different, right? Like, it's not even related. But, like, when I started, like, experimenting with all this stuff... With stuff, I mean, earning on the side, right? That was one of the goals that I had. Because I was struggling to pay rent and like basically do anything else rather than just go work and maybe go out like occasionally, but there was not too much that I could do there. So I started doing the Unreal Engine asset package like on the side, like apart from work as well. And yeah, it took a lot of time. And then at the same time, I also started doing a blog, you know, like a weekly blog that I was writing like in 5 years ago or something like that. That blog didn't earn me anything, you know? And like all the posts that I made in Unreal Engine forums, that didn't make me anything. But over time, like it kind of grew my presence overall, right? So when I do something, then people kind of know it by association, right? Because I'm attached to the thing that I'm doing. So when I launched Beyond Extent, it was a slow launch too, but it also had the weight of my name already attached to it. Feels so weird talking about it, like the weight of my name, but that's, if you look at it objectively, like, yeah, that's what you gotta do, right? And I'm talking about like years and years of work, you know? And now I finally gotten to the point where I've resign from my full-time job, right? And do this as a full-time thing myself. It's yeah. It's rough, you know? It takes time to build this stuff up. What's happening here? Wait, did he? So, okay. Let's do this. Okay, that's like angling them that way. Then let's do like a little bit of an offset here as well. Oh yeah, that's another good shout, pyramid scheme. That's what I did a lot too. It's just get my name out there. Like I participated in multiple ArtStation challenges. I did 4 or 5 articles for like 80 level. Did a bunch of podcasts. You know, like whatever. And that wasn't even to promote anything. I didn't have anything then, which is kind of stupid in hindsight, but hey. Here we are. Wait, let's just be lazy again. Time. It's all long term. Like if you're thinking, in my opinion, you know, this is all my opinion. If you're thinking about short term and you want to make quick cash, then I feel like this is not really going to work for you. Like not you per se, right? But like in general. That's how I feel. I feel like there's no get rich quick scheme when it comes to this. Or there might be, but then to me it's never been worth like sacrificing my name to be attached to something that's like a quick get rich quick scheme, right? Kind of how I feel about it. Oh, hi Bikes, how are you doing? And then Mozart is here as well. Hi, how are you doing? I want to make a fan project for a game I really like. And when it will be great and I like it, I want to use this for my applications. Do you think that's a good way to apply? Well, just making a fan project. Yeah. As long as it's good, right? It has to be good. That's the only thing that matters. Fast money comes with slow problems. I love that. That's why I've never been a fan of like, oh, make X amount of money in 1 month doing this 3D modeling thing. And it's just all like, oh, so cringe. Like just, but what if you can, you know? Like maybe if you really want to do that, then there are definitely ways to do it. Right? You just have to look at like, you basically have to look at spaces that are like very niche and people pay like a lot of money for it. I'm gonna let you figure that one out. Yeah, also good luck on the application, Mozart. Good luck on it. Okay, so what are we dealing with here? Just gonna clean this up a little bit. I know that I'm being very tough, Mazeltov, but I feel there's a lot of opportunities out there as well. Right? I just want to say that there are a lot of opportunities out there, and I'm sure that you're gonna find something. Just takes time. Don't want any weird intersections. We could also have simulated this, by the way, that I think about it, but bit delay for that. Okay. Join them all up. Put the pivot point near the floor. Thank you, boy. Have a look. Already looks better than this. Did I just rename it Alt Stack 1? Okay. Well, I guess just override this one. Oh, there's an imposter in there. Yeah, okay, so Park Oak. Yeah, great conversations though. I appreciate all the good questions. So I'm gonna do another shout out for people that are new here or might be new. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have about environment art, about getting into games, applications, or anything that you're going through. Would love to help out. Or if you just, I don't know, have questions about the weird stuff that I'm doing right now, feel free to ask. Thanks for the opinion. No problem, Mozart. Is that the only thing that you will be using for your application? Or do you have like more items in there as well? Or more portfolio pieces, I should say. This is like a large pile though. Ends do look a little bit wonky. Like especially the very sticky out ones. Like these ones. Very pointy ones. Do not like those. Always try to start on a modular environment, but it gets complex very fast. Yes, it does. Yeah, anything you do, or like any changes that you want to make on a modular environment has exponential consequences. Right? So let's say you have walls, pillars, roofs, windows, all that kind of stuff. If you change one dimension of one of it, it's going to affect all of it. Usually the issue working with like a modular set. I've been there. Pyramid scheme is saying, I've been there. I once needed money so bad I took on a job that paid a lot, but needed me to do 3 generalist, texture artist, blah blah blah. Took 3 months instead of 1. Yeah. Yeah, that's completely fine too, right? Like if you're in a bad situation and you need money drastically, you just have to pivot and do what you do, right? Totally fine too. This is stack number 1. I'm gonna make a smaller stack. I'm just gonna dunk. Basically, just delete all this stuff. Ew. Shut up, Angelo. Shut up. Angelo's keep calling to try me out. Like calling me out for okay, some backstory here. I wanted to check out the concepts for the new ArtStation challenge, and I was a bit too quick. I was lazy, and like a pop-up came up, and it was like a terms and conditions thing, and I was like, screw it, you know? Like I'm just gonna click on this, like, okay, accept, blah 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 blah, read through all the terms and conditions, and then it said like, oh, congratulations, you're now a challenger in the ArtStation challenge. I was like, oh fuck. Because it also updates everyone that follows me. Now a bunch of people are like, oh, can't wait to see what you do. And I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Leave me alone. So silly. So silly. Oh my god. Yeah, and by the way, like I'm already working on the medieval scene. I'm not gonna do 2 at the same time. Like it's gonna take me a decade. Bullied him into doing it? What? Danny, how dare you? How dare you, Danny? I thought we were friends, you know? Ugh. What I could do is just, I don't know, use like a bunch of screenshots that I already have lying around anyway, right? And I was just like, hey, this is my own concept, and yeah, just do that. Oh yeah, we need to re-import this as well. Did they even re-export? I don't think so. Let's do it. Also, let's re-import this one. My mouse. God, what's happening? Just do it. I will not. I've done a couple of them, and I don't have the time for it right now. No way. Way too intense for me. I did not study 3D, and therefore I do not know anyone else that's doing 3D, and I cannot talk with someone else, so just discuss my approaches. Now I'm going to stop nagging. No, you're not nagging. You're not nagging. It's just, yeah. It's good that you ask these questions. All we can do to help. Yeah, you're in the right place, exactly. What is happening? My mouse just dying on me. To be fair, just like I've had this mouse for a while. Might be time to get a new one. Maybe it's my mouse pad as well. Let's try it. Give it a try. Oh no, this is even worse. Oh no. No. Oh god. Don't you start, Mozart. Oh my god. Oh, we just needed to re-import this. Fix the pivot point up, and then I'm probably just gonna stunk. Get rid of that. So I'm thinking. Oh wait, okay. So we missed one thing here. Because I've changed something up in my materials. So now all this stuff that is basically just decal work uses a separate shader as well. So we need to make sure that the correct shader is applied to them. Wait, I'm doing this in such a backwards way. Because I can probably just do this. Select all these faces, use live, UV. And then do vertex blend decals and then assign it. And then now they're going to be affected by opacity because the rest of it doesn't have opacity. And we're going to do the same thing here as well. Live selection still on. Oh, vertex blend decals. I'm going to assign that and then just re-export them. Because now what is... Oh. Oh no, that's... Because now what is happening, like it's actually not keeping the opacity into account. So once I re-import this, probably see what I mean. Yeah. Nice. The black stuff is just like the what is it called? RVT stuff that's currently being projected on it, but RVTs are broken again, so ignore. And we can also replace this individual one as well. Still have the name. Oh. Oh, we need to do the same thing here as well. Oh, we need to do decals here. Oh, no, not the paint decals. And assign those. Oh. Why did it break that? Oh, wasn't paying attention. What I get. Okay, so all of this stuff. And that's going to be tree bark. Okay. I'm actually going to make this 0, 1, and then this is 0, 2. And hopefully as we re-import this one, zero, 1. It's okay. Nice. It's a little bit smaller as well. And then let's not forget to add the other one. Number 2. Art Station Challenge contest is happening right now. Cool. I want to see your work. Oh, hurts me. You start something and you import it into Unreal. It looks awful. Ah, the feels. Oh, it's just normal. You know, the ugly face of a project. Completely normal. This is the way. Pyramid Scheme. Did you see the Overdrive update for Cyberpunk 77? Yes. Looks awesome. And yeah, without DLSS, it runs like all hell. Yeah, it looks awesome though. Like, I love that they're really making that engine. But it's actually a good... Something just dawned on me. Because I was gonna say, it's actually interesting that they make that engine, like, kind of... That they're improving it so much that it's gonna support, like, all these like, new lighting features. But then... I realized that they're gonna switch over to Unreal Engine 5 for The Witcher. Possibly would be kind of crazy if they make like a new Cyberpunk game that they wouldn't do that with that game as well. Oh, it's interesting. Didn't think about that. Yeah, it looks awesome though. Oh, Nicholas, that's a good question. If you could have worked or could work on any game that's currently in development or is already released, which one would it be? I feel like Ubisoft Massive is in a really good spot right now. With the games that they have on the table, right? I would honestly... Yeah, it would be Massive if it was pure environment art. It would be Riot if I wanted to learn a lot about like cross development, if that makes sense. Because I want to know how Riot does like their cross development when it comes to their esports branch and their music and their animations and all that kind of stuff. Really interested to know more, like how Riot like nails all that stuff. And it seems like they also have like good just general IP knowledge, you know, because they're putting out so much good stuff. What is another good one? But yeah, you kind of asked like what game, right? So let me specify. Probably Star Wars. Massive. You know, I love open world games, so probably the new Star Wars game that Massive is working on. I would kind of love to work on that. If I had to choose. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, Nicholas, don't get too excited. Because I think, I don't... How should I say this? Like, I'm not a Star Wars nerd, right? Like, I don't really care about Star Wars that much. Probably like a wrong way of saying it. But the way that I love about the thing that I love about Star Wars is because it's such a wide universe that is not really explored fully in depth yet, and I think it has like the most solid basis when it comes to making worlds as an IP that I can see, right? Like for me when I think about like environment artwork, I want to work in a world that is like new and does something refreshing, and you can kind of have like creative freedom within it. And I think Star Wars does a good job with that. Other than that, Cyberpunk, you know, like a Cyberpunk game, I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't love to work on like DLC stuff. I've did it before, like I don't know, no. I want to be there when like the first thing ships. So that would have been an interesting one as well. Yeah, I know some people that work at Massive as well. I got no insider information, but yeah. I mean, even if I had, I wouldn't tell it here. No, but yeah, they seem to be in a good position with their tools and tech as well. Like I love what they did with the Division, right? And if they can then apply like the same kind of thinking on like a Star Wars game, I think that would be like a good mix. Obviously it's not going to translate 100 to 100%, right? Like Star Wars is going to be a completely different thing, but just the way that they had like the design philosophy and yeah, just the world of the Division was really well done. Personally, I think any of the Embark titles would be my pick. Yeah. Not really for me. Like, it's just, yeah. I would love to work on open world games, right? Like, I feel like at this point still open world games are like underserved. And, well, not really thoroughly explored, and there's so much potential in that genre still. That, yeah, I would love to work on like a proper open world title. It's what I loved and probably always will love, you know? Like making open worlds and new things to explore. Yeah, but what about everyone else? Like you could, if you could like pick one game that you could work on, what would that be? I'm gonna pick one game. Mm. We've been talking a lot on the stream. I'm just looking at this log pile and it's 2.5 hours in. Oh my god. It's all good though. I love what we're getting together here. Flappy Birds 2. About one is saying Flappy Birds. Hell yeah. That would probably make a shit ton of money. I still remember like all the PS4s that they sold, or like what was it? No, it was all the mobile, all the phones that they sold with like the game still installed on it, because like they delisted it. So crazy. Okay, what else are we gonna do? Looking great, dude. Thanks, Cairo. Making progress. Also nice having a chat on the screen. That's cool. Yes, making improvements. Even though like half of the time it's literally obscuring like anything on screen, right? Oh, it's always a pain about streaming, but hey. Mozart is saying pick Star Citizen. Like that's the dream game that that they want to work on. Well, Got Cairo in the chat. That's probably why he's here, right? Because he heard the sacred word, Star Citizen. Talked to a lot of people from Santa Monica Studios from a bachelor thesis, so that was awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like they do awesome stuff, but that's not a game that I would wanna contribute to, right? I don't know, just not my thing. Even though like it would be awesome to learn all the tips and tricks of like the artists there, because yeah, the quality bar is so high with them, right? It's just the game's enough for me. What are we gonna do? Okay, I want to switch it up a little bit. We're gonna watch a video. Said that we're gonna watch a video today. So we're gonna watch a little thing here about fucking. This is from what channel is this? Unreal Environment Speed Level Design. I honestly watched a little bit of it, but I'm actually curious what kind of assets they use and if I can get inspired by any of it. Or like get some inspiration from it. Yeah, they have like all the wooden palisades, or like all the wooden walls. Those are pretty cool. Oh, Pyramid Scheme. Tim and Bark Studios has an environment artist opening waiting for you. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I feel like that could be cool, making complete houses like this, because yeah, I'm kind of making mine out of like modular pieces, right? So I want to make like a couple of pre-made houses, or maybe, yeah, maybe we can do the blueprint approach that I'm doing. But it seems like they have like static meshes just as like singular houses. Just some walls. There's water mill as well. Bridge looks cool as well. Got a bridge planned. These wooden palisades, like this wooden wall, could be very cool. I think I made one already, but it looks like way too chunky. So I would love to work on Beyond Extend Studios. Oh, shh. Can't say that. Am I qualified enough? Unfortunately not, John. Unfortunately not. Nice asset quality, to be honest. Yeah, I love it. Nice. I think this is a mix. Yeah, this is a mix of like a couple of things. Yeah, the asset quality is nice. The benefit of having houses as like singular things is that you can be really specific with the vertex paint because you can do it in your 3D modeling program, right? So yeah, that could be cool. We got these stone walls as well, even though we felt like a block out. Wait, hold up. What's happening here? What's happening with that foliage brush? What is it? Just curious how to do the leaves. Is that just like a static mesh that they do? How do they do that? What's this? Paint layers, forest layer. Okay, so probably painting. Yeah, same kind of approach that I'm doing then. And then just random piles of leaves get scattered upon it. Sense. Gonna skip through some of it. Some of the market stalls. I like the entrance. Let's have a look here. Have a look at the end result, shall we? Oh, the moss growing on the tree. That's a good idea as well. Moss on the tree roots. I think the thatch on my assets definitely needs to be improved. Even though that was a plan already, but... got the falling leaves, add a nice bit of a dynamic element to it. Thatch does look pretty cool. The foliage itself as well, like where you have like these like twiggy small trees. I don't know, name them. They look kind of cool. Yeah, it is nice. Saw this yesterday and got me inspired, you know? I was like, okay, can grab a couple of ideas over here. Can improve on a lot of it too. Water as well. I love the ground clutter. Very nice. It has a good balance. Cool. Okay, I'll send a link here as well. Send the linky. We'd only be able to wear flannel shirts. God damn, what a cool video. Yeah, it is, right? Love that video. Yeah, I stumbled upon it yesterday and was like, cool, we can get some ideas from this. The issue with that is that this area is supposed to be like more secluded, right? So we can't really build it up like the thing he did, but it would be cool to make like an entrance to a city though. I wonder what kind of buildings do we have currently? These are probably all going to be broken, aren't they? Well, they're not. Hi, Pigato! Thank you so much for subscribing. We got a building like this. That's basically it. I think the rest of it is already like townhouses, right? Like stuff like this. Where it's a little bit more fantasy driven. Some of them need to be cleaned up, but... Yeah, what is all this? Building, house, 3 floors. Oh, I see. Yeah, this is one where you have to like dig in the landscape a little. Let's go down. Let's pick Latin. Afternoon, George. How's it going? Staircase going in. So we do have some of the assets already. This is more like a rural thing. I think we're just, if we want to do like an entrance to a town, we need more of these kind of houses over here. Never really done them that much. That would be good to keep in mind. Maybe we'll do that next time. Maybe we can do like a, yeah, like a city entrance or like a town entrance or something. You know what? I'm just gonna replace this house by the other house that we just had. I like a bunch of stuff in it anyway. Trying to find like the floor here that I can sample it. Just flatten all of it out. A little bit too high still. I think they didn't even use like planks on the floor, right? It would just be like thatch, I think. Let's see. Can we use some of this in here? Yeah, right. I think that fits. Where's my other stuff? I think I... There we go. Like I'm kind of using these assets to just like cover up some of the harsher transitions that we get into like the landscape. I'm gonna fix the floor texture as well. Gotta be careful with some of the leaves popping in too. Have you tried landscape patches which allow you to attach landscape sculpting, smoothing sections to a blueprint? Is that the new procedural generated content that you're talking about, Cairo? If not, I have no idea what you're talking about. Am I missing out on some awesome features? To be honest, like, there's probably like a lot of features in the landscape tool that I don't even use, you know? Like... What's that shadow coming from? Is that coming from the beams up there? Could be. Move that wood. Yeah, I think for a lot of this stuff we have to be really careful with the rain itself. Because we're gonna have like harsh transitions over here. Set to fall off to nothing. Which part is the modeling section? What do you mean, Mobile Menace? Oh, from the entire playlist where I model stuff. We did some modeling today. Very chill. But I think most of it has not been recorded, honestly. I think we had, 2 live streams ago, we did nothing but modeling, I think. It was one of them where we did like a whole lot of modeling. What is this? So these textures are broken. Oh, these use the RVT, right? So now it has moss all over it. Well, not great, but like I am gonna this from it. I wanted to ask if I sent my portfolio to the community list on the site. You can check them if you have the time after the feedback streams. But when will this stream be? So the next portfolio review stream is next month. It's always the second Tuesday of the month. I'll add the stream to the schedule list pretty soon. But it's always the same kind of recurring time and date. Let's make sure that none of these leaves poke through. Probably also don't want to be very muddy in here. Maybe we can have like a little bit of mud on the entryway. Still need to work on the roof, because the roof, shape-wise, it looks quite nice, but I think the texturing could use a lot of work. I like what they did in the video that we just saw. I don't know if I still have it up here. The look and feel of the touch that they had. I don't know if there's like a good moment in the video. Oh. Yeah, I don't think... yeah. The stuff that they have going on here looks really nice. I think it's also benefiting from more alpha. Like, even on the sections where it's, like, really thick, you have, like alpha. Like, opacity, basically, where you can look through it. So... need to figure that out. Do some tweaks to my material as well. Because basically what I have is it goes really dense. Like you basically can't look through it apart from the edges, right? So I have like a trim, like a border that I can just use for like little overhangs and stuff. Fabian, welcome to the chat. Hey, I'm from Bolivia. I wanted to ask, where should I start looking for a job or an internship if I'm from a country where the gaming industry basically does not exist? That is a very good question. I don't really have experience with that. Simple answer is wherever they take you and wherever it's comfortable for you to move to. Right? I mean, that's my best answer that I can give. I honestly don't know about like any regions or any countries close by that have like a flourishing game industry. Yeah, very European based, right? Oh, Cairo is saying I personally worked remote jobs until I had enough experience for someone to relocate me. Yeah, so that basically leaves internships from the list, right? So yeah, remote jobs are a good shout actually. Yeah. Which one? Which ones do you recommend, Cairo? Did you? I mean, the first ones that come up to me are like Decagon, right? Like Decagon is a good one. That's the one that I know. That's like very internationally based. But there's probably like some good other ones out there too. Get a good enough portfolio to where people approach you for freelance gigs, maybe more indie, fully remote studios as well. That worked for me. Great shout. Thanks, guys. Thanks for pitching in. Because I'm pretty green when it comes to that stuff. Well, while we're at it, I want to change our little pixely, weird looking tree stump really quick if we can do that. Do it in here? I don't think so. Nope. Also, no shame on starting slightly outside the games industry if you're a 3D artist. ArcFiz is basically making realistic environments, and most of the skills you learn there apply to games. Yep, 100% agree. I would even assume that there's a lot of crossover in terms of software these days anyway, right? Because a lot of companies do ArcFiz inside of Unreal Engine as well. So, in a weird way, yeah, I mean, this is a very AAA look on things, but like in a weird way, you might be closer to what you would use on your personal work when you're working in ArcViz than most AAA companies. Because a lot of them still have their own kind of engine, you know? What are we doing here? Just gonna be really lazy. Like Smart UV. Yeah. And then I'm just gonna scale it up a little bit so that styling a bit better. Yeah, that's a great shout. Did we... Where's that going to? Export recursive is all good. Nature, I think, should be all good. Did we just forget to re-export? Oak tree stump? Yeah. Eh? Oh, is that... Hmm. Yeah, it's the remesh, like fucking it up. Yeah, of course. Of course it will be. Let me just do this then, and then just do that again. Scale it up a little bit. That is looking very spicy up here. Oh, it's literally just like holes in the thing. Okay. Not gonna worry about that. I just wanted to fix the texture real quick. Because I'll need to redo it anyway. Bonk. Sweet. That's all I wanted. And then we're probably gonna do some like vertex blending with like moss on top of it. Make it look nice. Yeah. Oh, Mazeltov is asking, did you start the project with creating a lot of tileable textures and after that modeling? No, I've been pretty much all over the place when it comes to this. I started out with making the trim sheet, which I use for like all my wooden assets, right? So that's what I started with first. Then I just started to expand like on tileables whenever I needed one. So like the core is actually just like the main trim sheet that I'm using on like a lot of it. And then anything else afterwards just comes in whenever I think of something. Well, it's got some shells. Oh yeah, I made these walls. Yeah, I don't wanna build it up too much, you know? Kinda like that it's just like a cabin in the woods. Surrounded by trees. This is like a tiny workshop. With like an area leading up to it. I think we're gonna get to a point where it's just about like, yeah, like I was doing before, like making more houses, making more assets, and trying to create like more scenes, right? So I think what I'll do is I'll leave it here because I need to go anyway in like a little bit for like mentorship. But I'll leave it here. Next time, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna create like an entrance to a city, and I'm gonna see if I need to make like any more blockout meshes for that to work. And we're gonna focus on kind of the same setup that we've seen in the video as well, where it's a very early medieval city where it's still mostly made out of wood. Like this is just like a little enclave, you know, like surrounded by like a pretty shitty wooden wall. And yeah, we'll see if we can make another scene out of that so that we can playtest around with some of these assets before we start doing a polish pass on like all of it. So yeah, that will be the thing for next time. I'm gonna hop on off in a little bit. There's a couple more questions here. I think Mazeltov. Oh no, George first. A VFX company contacted me and invited me for a talk. I think it went well. The person said he will contact me this week. Until now, I haven't received any message. Should I contact him or just wait? So the person said he will contact me this week. I would honestly just wait until Monday because realistically they're not going to reply on like a Friday anyway, right? Especially not when it's already like 4 o'clock. I mean, given time zones, I know that you might be like in a different time zone possibly. So they're not going to reply anyway, so might as well wait until Monday. That's what I would say. Mazeltov, do you use Lumen and Nanite? Should you use them if you are creating an asset pack? I use Lumen because, I mean, it's such a good lighting solution, especially for outdoor stuff. So use Nanite. Should you use them? No. I mean, you could. There's asset packages with Nanite. There's asset packages without Nanite. So it depends. It depends on what you think the market for that is. I'm gonna play it safe, and I'm gonna do non-Nanite assets. Because it's always, to me, it's easier to convert them to Nanite than make Nanite meshes with Nanite in mind and then making them optimized for a non-Nanite situation. Because usually what Nanite means is that you can just chuck a load of polys at it. But yeah, I can't risk it because you can it's harder to go back from like a lot of polys and then condense it down unless you go like, yeah, you decimate everything, but that's kind of dirty. So I'm gonna build them like the old school way, and then people can just like make a Nanite mesh out of it. That's my approach. Awesome. Okay, with that, I'm out of here. I'm gonna take a little break before we go into like the next thing. So let me leave you with like a nice outro shot. Let's do something like this, you know. Oh, you know what? There's one more thing that I fixed before we leave off. Or at least I think I did. I don't know how good it's gonna look. Okay, it's a little bit too contrasty still, but hey. I fixed the evening lighting. So it's not looking like it's freaking samurai red or whatever it was last time. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna leave you with this. Thank you so much for being here. Awesome to see so many people chatting. Thank you so much for all the questions and good discussion topics. And yeah, I'll be here next Friday for another art stream. Let's make a city entrance then, shall we? All right. See you then. Bye bye.